Going on, traders? How we doing? Welcome back to Start Swing Trade. Let's take a look underneath the hood. Let's see what's moving in the market. And it was a great day, at least for me, in one trade only made today. Unity. Unity for a quick little gain. But let's talk about what's going on in this market. Seems like we're getting ourselves a little bit of a sustained rally. Now, the only question is, can it hold on, right? Will it come back into the situation that could happen, right? I mean, right now we did hit the 50% retracement levels, then we bounced. Now it's kind of a question, will we stop at 440s or maybe we stop right before that? I have here an exponential moving average 50, and that's that yellow line that you see here. And it looks like today we reject that pretty well. That was 437.04. The high today, 437.22s. So definitely struggling in that 437 area. Now starting to pull back. Could we retrace to 430s? Yes, I think that's definitely in line. I think that we've had nice little 2-day rally. Maybe you call this a 3-day rally. And yeah, you can call it a 3-day rally, including what? Friday's action, right? So this is the same thing that we see also in the Qs, right? Friday rally towards Tuesday rally. Now the only question is this the topping? Is this the top? Now, one thing that I can see here is that the Qs look like they want to get to this trend line. So I could see maybe a little bit more spike being able to get a little bit more of a push, but we are definitely topping out a little bit. And I think that in the long run, this is going to go ahead and give us a decline sooner than later. And you guys can see here, I drew this pop here from RSI Extreme, and this ended up doing what? Leading right into the pop. And if you can look here to the right-hand side, we get to an extreme here, back towards closer towards the 18s. What happens? A bounce back. So now do we go back towards RSI 60s, 70s and start going to the upside? Or will we make a move back down towards those lows and then see the decline come in? So that's one thing definitely to keep an eye out for on the Qs. SPY, very similar. Bounces, bounces, right? Now we're going to take a look to see if it comes right back down. Will they play some chop? I think that that's what we're seeing. Now let's get into what's going on, right? All the sectors today staying in the green and everything green day today. And that's just how it goes sometimes, right? I mean, everyone was expecting the market to come down yesterday. And what ends up happening? Well, it doesn't really come down, right? And so there you guys see it, guys. Tech actually taking a nice little up move, and the market overall getting a little bit of an up move. And then we all thought, because of what happened in Israel and everything that's going on in the Middle East right now, the markets would be dragging down. When they're doing the opposite, they're actually making the up move. And it just goes to show you that sometimes the logical move is not the move that happens. It's sometimes the illogical or the reverse psychology that the market likes to play. So it's good to see you guys out there. Definitely say hello in the chat. If you guys are new to the stream, say hello. What are you guys looking at? What trades are you guys taking a look at? We'll definitely take a look at it here. Let's talk about what's going on right now. Of course, we've been seeing that this nice little rally that's been going on. It doesn't look too bad. Now, the only question, will it all turn around? I think at some point we come crashing right back down. So let's take a look here at what actually did well today. Utilities bouncing back today. This has been a couple days move now. So not a bad move there. Up there back towards the 585s on the index. And you can look at the XLU to kind of compare it, right? It's very similar. You guys are seeing these start to bounce back, but the question is, will they get another hit down? I think eventually they do. So did we get to oversold territory? Yes. So a little bit of a bounce in the works here. Now the only question, will it come right back down? It just seems like it. Consumer cyclical getting hot today. Department stores, lodging, and residential construction and leisure. These were the four that were leading very early in the market, and they gave you positions that you could have made a big gain. And this is why I like to talk so much about sector and industry rotation. Because if you want to have edge, which is what we're all looking for in the market, you must know a couple of things. You must know a good strategy. You must know where the market is, and especially where the money is going, because that's, I think, is going to be even more vital and can give you big edge. So this morning, you can clearly see The money was going back into leisure, residential construction, lodging, and department stores. Let's take a look at some of these department stores and how they did on the day. Let's go to the 5-minute, 15-minute, wherever you want to look at. This is the 5-minute. You guys can see how Macy's was trying to make that up move there. You got JWN that had a lot better day there. You also got a decent day from Dillard's. KSS also having a decent day, up about 2.3%. You can see that on the daily, finally getting a little bit of a bounce after these names have been wrecked. Right now, the only question is, can this hold? It's department stores. I don't see them having a good end of the year, but like always, one thing that we need to keep in mind is when the consumer is slowing down, doesn't mean the consumer slowed down right now. No, I think what's happening is we're seeing the consumer slowly slow down, right? It's not going to be just an instant stop. And of course, with the holidays coming up, there's still going to be some spending going on, regardless if consumers are struggling, right? If you're struggling, are you really going to buy gifts on Christmas? Yes, you'll probably still buy them. Maybe on buy now, pay later, and which is a whole nother conversation, but you'll still probably get that little bit of a jump. So keep your eyes on that. Keep the mentality that these kind of stocks can still get some lift. Even the leisure plays and lodging plays could see some lift. An area that we've seen recently really hit hard is residential construction. So as you guys can see, from about July 20th to just recently on that Friday, we started to turn around. That was a 19% decrease there. And now we're starting to see some of these start to make another move to the upside. So where do we got to keep our eyes on it? We got to try to maybe play some of this bounce, right? And if we also know, what did we see? We saw Warren Buffett made a position in these names, right? And this tells me that, hey, Warren doesn't lose often, right? So in my eyes, at some point, these stocks are going to be a buy. And especially when I look around and I see so much building going on. Some of these are going to be big winners and they can bounce back and start making a move back. And then, of course, if we run into some housing situation, these could get hit. But for right now, things look good for these companies like DHI, Lennar, right? Toll Brothers. And I think that with that being said, I think we need to keep an eye out for these to maybe get another move up. All right, let's keep going. We'll get out of residential construction. An area that I saw really early making a move was lodging. And there you guys see it. Today, Hyatt joining, of course, the mid-cap 400. But we also saw what? We saw Marriott get a nice little lift out the gate. Hilton make a nice little lift back up there towards 153s. It's been holding this long-term trend line. If we ever come back to that, I think we could make a big crack. So I'm going to continue to watch that line to see if we ever come back below 150s. For right now, it is still hanging in here and could keep pushing back above the 155. I think in the long run, we kind of chop around here for a little bit and eventually make a move back down to 145. We'll see what happens on this one. Hilton, and look at Airbnb today. What a nice little push back, as this one really cut the juice there. Got a nice little lift there to the 132s. Now has pulled back a little bit. Could end up the day strong here as it gets the next push to the upside. And of course, getting out of lodging, we can talk a little bit about leisure. Leisure, of course, includes those booking Airbnb names. That includes Carnival, Royal Caribbean. And you guys can see how these have been getting a little bit of a lift. Even Expedia the last 2 days. Is it expected? No, because at the end of the day, we are expecting to see travel come down with some uncertainties in the market. But that's not what we're seeing here. We're actually seeing these stocks come up and get another bounce. Reverse psychology type of move. And that's how it is sometimes, team. The truth is, sometimes you got to think of the reverse psychology. Where's the majority psychology going to? And could the market play the opposite? That's what happened yesterday and continuing to work a little bit today. All right, let's get to the action. It's good to see you guys out there. Which chart looks best to you right now? We can take a look at some of those charts. We can take a look at what I'm seeing. Tesla mentioned in the chat. We can take a look. It's been a big move up early on. Let's see if it was able to hold on. I haven't taken a look at it in a little bit. Here we are, up to 264. And this was a nice little lift off. This one did do a nice little pullback to the 90 MA, caught another lift, went up there to the 268 spot. Now we're trying to make our way back there to the 270s. I'm going to continue to watch this. Is this just kind of a blow off top and we end the day back down closer towards 262? Or do we start making our way back to 270? 270 is a vital spot where it can really start getting hot and making its move to 280s eventually. Who knows? Maybe a 300 run is in for Tesla. I'm personally looking on a longer term to the downside for Tesla. Reason why is because interest rates and other things that come into play. But I'm going to keep this in mind. We'll see what happens right now. I'm not going to battle and go short here because that doesn't really make sense. But we'll see if it starts coming back to the 250, if we take a shot on the downside. We'll see what happens there on the Tesla Dragon, of course. And let's keep looking into different areas. We've talked about a lot about consumer cyclical today. Of course, that's been leading the move up, but we're also getting a move up here in healthcare. Certain areas a little bit harder than others. Medical devices doing really well today. So stocks like that getting a nice little lift here. MDT, ABT getting a little bit of a bounce back. Will this continue to hold? It's not nothing that I'm looking for it to continue to hold. I think this is just kind of a matter of being oversold and getting a little bit of a hit. Biotech's definitely starting to kind of hold their gains here and go sideways is what we want to see. Regeneron going sideways, VRTX going sideways. Will it take the next step up? And one of these stocks you guys can be looking for is Moderna as it starts to kind of push back here towards the 105. Will that get the lift? BNTX also trying to make a little move back above 112s. I can tell you right now, they're not my favorite stocks here. The biotechs just hasn't been hot as of late. You can also see this with XBI and how this is just really falling off the tape. Look at the IBB. This was looking good for a little while. And then what ended up happening, a quick little downturn towards 120. We'll eventually see if this can start coming back. Even Gilead came back a pretty significant amount. We'll look to see if it can kind of hold that 75 pullback and then make a move back there towards 80s, 85s. We'll just keep an eye out on this stock. It's just been kind of going sideways here, at least not going all the way back down towards 60 is Gilead, but it's one that I'd keep on my radar. All right, that's enough into healthcare. We could talk about different areas there. Healthcare plans still trying to climb a little bit, but I have a feeling this could turn around pretty ugly and come right back down. Of course, CVS, a part of that group, ELV, UNH, Humana. We'll see what happens to those names. Of course, those are in healthcare plans. All right, let's keep going. Jim, what's up out there? Hi, guys. It's been a while for you on the close. Hey, well, this is where we go ahead and take a look at the market, right? Take a look at what moved underneath the hood today. So if you saw something, Jim, that caught your attention, let me know. It looks like you took a little bit of some Soxel. Soxel, not a bad little move on the day. It's trying to make a little bit of a push here. We'll look to see if it can continue to push. Next level, I can see it's like 2150s. But you're also mentioning a really good move today, SMCI. This one was trying to work its way back here above this kind of 290 spot. Big break right back towards the 311s. So it looks like this little move to the 231s, a little bit of a fake out to the downside. You're back above the 300 spot. I'd be looking to make sure 290s holds from here on out, but it could start making its way back to right where it was, 350s. And I did see some AI names kind of hang on strong today. AI getting a nice little lift here towards 27. So I think a lot of this was started yesterday with Microsoft, right? But look how weak Microsoft was today. The hourly chart doesn't look too bad, but definitely nowhere near as strong as it was the prior day. Let's keep going. We could take a look at some of the ones you mentioned in the chat, guys. Don't worry. I'll make sure to get through those. Let's get to some technology here to see what led on the day. I can also just do this by looking at the Qs, right? Let's take a look here at what's the top leader there. And you guys can see here, Lucid, ENPH, Airbnb, not really tech names, right? Where do we get to finally some tech names? And then you guys start seeing like kind of PDD. That's still specialty retail. JD, specialty retail, right? You're not seeing kind of that tech name until when? Well, you're not until you kind of get to these software names, right? And that's really when we start seeing some technology show up, like Workday, really good day there. Intuit, nice day. That it's getting a little bit of a push on semiconductor, getting a nice little move here towards the 94. There's really not too much there, though, in tech that's just kind of leading the game right now in the Qs. So that just tells me more and more how yesterday was definitely stronger tech move than it was today, but still being able to hang in. All right, communication services also doing well. Basic materials taking the upside move. Aluminum, copper, and lumber are the ones leading there. Chemicals staying strong. Agricultural inputs were strong yesterday. Another day two type of move. So catch those, of course, if you're able to. CF, MOS, kind of hanging in there to yesterday's move, but it wasn't nowhere near as bright or and as bullish as yesterday's action. So this could be telling us that the momentum is starting to slow down and we could get a little bit of a pullback. And of course, what do we have tomorrow? We have PPI tomorrow, CPI on Thursday. CPI is what I'm concerned about, but maybe PPI does a surprise and then we get our down move tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. It has been a pretty bullish 2 days, especially off the backs of a war. So we'll see if this comes into the market and all of a sudden you see a down hit there. I know I've been taking a look at energy to see if it can continue since yesterday and look at the continuation today. Not looking too bad. Some of these stocks pulling back a pretty good amount, like XOM pulling back here towards the 110. It did make a 110 move a little earlier. I think this eventually could even come down here towards kind of right below 110s, eventually getting back through that 112. Chevron kind of just holding in here. You can also take a look at Oxy, of course. Oxy looks like it's just going sideways right now. It doesn't look like it knows which way it wants to go. And a lot of this is going to be based on the price of crude overall, right? Can we get back into the 90s? We've had a couple of spikes today towards the 86 and high end 86 to 86.74 as the high. Can we get back to 88s, 89, into the 90 handle? And yes, we will be seeing ourselves get another lift. If we think about the 52-week range for WTI, where has been the top, where has been the bottom this year? 95.03, 63.57. So keep your eyes on that. If we go back to that 95, yeah, we could see a lift. And that could also come with what? That could also show us that inflation is increasing. As you get oil prices to go higher, inflation could increase also. And what could that do? That could also leave the 25 basis points on the table. Things like that. Keep your eyes out. We'll see what happens. All right, let's keep going, guys. I'll take a look at some of the ones that you guys are mentioning. Let's keep them rolling in there. Real estate also getting a little bit of a bounce today. Even defensive names were up. And this has been not a hot area as of late, right? But today you get a little bit of a bounce. Walmart coming back to the 157.43s. If this could come back to 158, I got no problem shorting Walmart again. But we'll see what happens if it can come back to the 158 spot. Costco still hanging in there. Target even getting a little bit of a lift from that bottoming action. This is one that I don't trust, but it did get the push here today. So we'll see if that can continue. Some of these discount stores still hanging in there. Ollie's also has had a recent spike and hasn't come down. So we'll see what happens with that one if it starts to let go. All right, and that's in discount stores. You're seeing grocery stores do well today. Beverages, brewers doing pretty decent. Bud getting a little bit of a push back here. Now back to 53.60s. Tap trying to make a move back up, but this just looks like it's falling off and not being able to come back to the gains. All right, what's going on out there, Turbine? What are you looking at? Where's the money going? That's what it's all about. Like always, if you can keep up with the rotation, that can get you into the profits. All right, let's take a look at some of the ones that you guys are mentioning here. You guys are talking about AMD, and you guys can see this line. I just extend it, right? Let's extend it here. Now we're starting to see what? A little bit of a bunch up formation where you got an inside day yesterday. Now you take another step up. Now I don't want to see it kind of cut back below 107s. If it cuts back below 107s, it could come right back down to this 105 and 102 spot. So from here on out, I'd be looking for pullbacks closer below 108s towards 107, somewhere in between there. If I could get the stock there, it won't be looking too bad. So tomorrow, what can I look for? A little bit of a decline coming into this area, right? Somewhere in between this kind of 108, 107.25s. If it could go into there tomorrow, I'll be looking for a little bit of a pullback, but it all depends on the market, right? Because AMD does look like it's trying to make a move back, but if it runs into a wall, it could be a wall here at 110, and all of a sudden it's back down to 105 and 100. AI rally continues. AI stock, that is. Yes, I talked a little bit about that AI stock. And why is this getting a lift? It's because Microsoft is getting a lift. It's because the AI story is coming back a bit. And the big reason why is because Microsoft has been mentioning about their AI chip. You've been hearing multiple mentions about open AI. And then now you start to see a little bit of a lift here. AI coming back here towards 2678. Maybe it makes its move back to 32s. I'll tell you one thing. I don't see it back at like 46, but hey, to each his own, right? We'll see if it gets back there to 46. AI just, because completely fallen off since it's moved back into the 30s. It's almost back to 30 at least. So that maybe we could short it again there, but I don't believe too much in this AI move. I can tell you Nvidia has been trying to hold this 450 spot multiple times, trying to get back towards the next resistance. We'll see what happens on Nvidia as it starts to fall off now. If we do get a downturn in the market tomorrow, this is going to be the one that I'll be coming after, as I think this one could fall right back down towards 440s and maybe even below towards the 420 spot. We'll see what happens in Nvidia. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at other ones in the market. You guys smash the like if you guys are enjoying the action. AVPT, man, that was SPAC back in the day. AvePoint. I've even spoken to the CEO and founder of AvePoint. We'll see if this one could really make its way back. One thing that I'll tell you guys is there's a lot of overhead supply on this name. So as you get to $9 and close to 10, I think you're going to find a lot of sellers in AVPT. We'll see what happens. Crassy, NVIDIA cut down drivers and developers for non-AI chips. Yeah, I think in the long run, what do we see? We see people coming after NVIDIA's lunch, and then eventually this could definitely hit the valuation. I mean, we got to keep this in mind. This stock is still up on the year, 210%. Is that going to be the end of the year? Will we be up 200% in NVIDIA by the end of the year? You guys in the chat, let me know. That would be what? That would be close towards, let's say, 425. Will we be above or below 425 on NVIDIA by the end of 2023? You guys in the chat, throw it up. What do you guys think? Above 425 or below 425 by the end of the year on NVIDIA? All right, let's go to some of those China names. I know I was looking at Baba today to maybe play this one. A little annoyed I didn't get the fill, but let's take a look to see if it would have been a good fill. I tried to get filled here at what? Well, when this stock pulled back right here at 85.96, I had an order out at 94, guys. So 2 pennies away from this. Wasn't able to get an entry on Baba, but as you guys can see, it was a nice little lift off. So not a bad trade there. Got to keep watch to see what happens on the China names, to see if they're going to start getting a push back, especially back into the 88s. Just give me 1 second here. All right, let's keep going, guys. We'll see what happens if it starts to top out near the 88s. The next levels to watch will be if you can go through that, right? If you can make your way back to the 50 exponential moving average back there towards 88, 89, 90s, and this could run towards 100. But if we reject here and we're back towards 86, be careful because Baba could be coming right back down towards the longer term support. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going. I'm seeing some people say above. Okay, we'll have to see. Of course, NVIDIA has been talking about, and the analysts have price targets way above, some even as high as 500. And I forgot what the street high is. It's some crazy number up there with NVIDIA. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going, guys. SMH. Wally wants me to take a look into the semiconductor ETF. And of course, this includes a lot of stocks. So one thing that you can also do, guys, is always kind of look up what is the holdings here. The way that I do this is I just do technology and semiconductors. So I can just do it like that. But hey, to each his own. If you guys want to take a look at that ETF, you guys can always take a look at that ETF. I like equally weighted ones. So definitely that's why I look at this, and this is equally weighted. It's a lot different than kind of that outlook, right? SMH, let's take a look at the difference right here. And I could do this with just my 3 charts here. I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. You see, guys, see semiconductors on the right-hand side here. I'm going to go ahead and expand, take away the stocks out chart in the middle, and show you guys the difference here, right? And that's the way that we can do it. So we're going to go ahead and we'll put the daily here for the SMH, and then we'll put semiconductors here on a daily also. Look how this looks very similar, right? Very, very similar does this look, right? And so this is what I can kind of keep an eye out. What are the hot stocks in the semiconductor space that we can kind of keep an eye out for? Well, let's go by RSI and let's get out of the hourly RSI. I want to go to the daily RSI and take a look at what's in here. And so I can take a look here and I can see that, all right, let's go to technology. Let's go to the semiconductors. All right. And now we're going to go ahead and go towards those high names there. And you can start seeing, of course, there's some other ones that are starting to get the lift. And you can see this 80, this SYNA, Synaptics, definitely pretty hot as of late. Quick, pretty hot as of late. And so the reason I do this is to kind of show you guys that if you stick with the hot names, you might be able to still continue to get a little bit of a lift. Intel is one. Definitely, I'm keeping a radar on, because if we are going to get this next AI boost, I think Intel can also get a push back to that 40. We'll see what happens on these. Of course, NVIDIA pushing strong as of late, Empower pushing back as of late, Qualcomm, AMD. Those are the names that have been strong. Let's see if they stay strong and get another lift. Crassy bringing some added information here for, of course, AMD. It's 4:02, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. Newer gamer chips getting undercut by AMD. Better performance at a lower price. We'll see. The key there is that the AMD chips for the gamings have already been spoken about, Crassy. I don't think that's anything new, at least for the Intel situation. The Intel situation, I think, has more to do with what's going to come next, right? What kind of growth can they develop? Can they work with NVIDIA to kind of develop more and more of their AI chips, things like that? Will their processors be used for more AI situations? All things to kind of keep an eye out for. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. If you take a look, the SPY came back here towards the 434s. So not the best closing. And I think that this just goes to show us that it could have just been kind of a 3-day rally. And then all of a sudden we see a takedown. This is where I don't feel too confident about tech just continuing to rally, even though this could be a seasonally strong period. We'll see what happens, guys. Smash the like. I hope you guys enjoyed everything here on Start Swing Trade. Catch me tomorrow bright and early, of course, where? On none other than Pre-Market Prep. I'll see you guys over there. Hit the like button. And of course, let me know. What do you guys want to see more on Start Swing Trade? Do you guys want to see some more strategy approach? Do you guys like sector and industry analysis? Do you guys follow the rotation? Let me know. Hit the like button. I'll see you next time right here.